to your online art song experience, sponsored by An die Musik. The name An die Musik in English means to music, and it comes from the Schubert song. Our aim is the education, promotion and performance of art song. My name is Louise Scott, and I'm the founder and artistic director. We've produced short movies with just one song. It contains the translation or the words in English, a short ad hoc discussion by the artists and a performance by them. You can contact us through the information at the end of this presentation. Thank you for watching.
Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about Gretchen am Spinnrade, and I have the wonderful Jennifer Black with me. Hello Jennifer.
Hello.
And before we start to talk, I'd just like to read you a little bit about something that I wrote about Gretchen, just a few thoughts. Gretchen established the independence of the Lied as a musical standalone piece. Schubert's faithfulness to the text is imbued in the accompaniment, which adds layers of meaning and adds to the raising of the Lied to a higher level. So tell me, Jennifer, how do you feel about this song?
This song has been with me for a while. Actually, I discovered this song when I was 18 years old in undergrad. And I think as a young woman, sort of being introduced to, or starting my dating life, etc., it was so important to me to have a character such as Gretchen to associate with, to sympathize with, to empathize with. She is extremely distraught. She is a woman that has met a man who is irresistible because he has, at this point, made a pact with the devil. So he becomes irresistible to anyone that he meets. And I think, as you said, he is focused on Gretchen. She's very young, she's innocent, she's vulnerable, she's beautiful, and she falls head over heels in love with him. She really believes that he is it. And what's fascinating about this song, and I think maybe you'll go into this further, is that this song changed the entire way that art song had been composed before. This was an entirely new approach, and you'll go into that. But there's such an escalation, and you hear her desperation and her just anguish and relentlessness of this emotion and these thoughts that are going through her head. What do you think?
Yes, exactly. And I think it's not only the emotion and the psychological part of the song from, well, both performers, but particularly from the singer's aspect, which is something that I don't think hitherto perhaps hadn't been quite as explicit. And it's also the addition of an emotionally charged accompaniment as well in the piano. And this was, I think, totally new, and some people didn't like it at all. But it caught on over time. I mean, this is when this really began. And in looking at how Schubert's life was up until this time, and the fact that it's been pointed out that the day before, the 18th of October 1814, the day before Schubert actually wrote this song, was a huge celebration in Vienna to mark the year anniversary of Napoleon's defeat and the liberation of Germany and Austria from the French domination. And so there was this massive celebration in Vienna for all the inhabitants to go. And so the feeling of euphoria and of hope for the future and of things changing for the better would have been absolutely paramount. And so Schubert goes home and the next morning reads this part of the Goethe drama of Faust, where Gretchen is sitting in her little room and virtually looking out the window and wondering where Faust is and searching for him everywhere. This is, I think, imbued with a lot of that emotion that was there.
Absolutely. And in that same vein, with the hope of things changing in Vienna, with the hope of things getting better, he therefore creates a song that breaks how songs had been composed in the past. This song is not strophic, and it was almost like the festival gave him a liberation to take a few more liberties with his composition style, would you say?
Yes, I think so. It's not proven, but I think it would have certainly added and given Schubert an impetus to do something even more daring. I think so. As a young 17-year-old, I think so. And both Gretchen was a teenager, Schubert was a teenager with teenager emotions. And so it was sort of it's really a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in the accompaniment, you'll hear the incessant motion of not only her spinning wheel, but we think her emotions as well. It just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, round and around and around again, like a spinning wheel.
Schubert's composition of Gretchen on the 19th of October 1814 is a watershed in the art song genre. He begins Gretchen in the introduction like this. So you can hear, already people talk about this is the spinning wheel going round and round. But a lesser composer could have written this. We've still got the round and round movement, but we haven't got that one thing which is so intrinsically important to the mood and the feeling of this song. And that's the addition of this one little note to what Schubert used with the D minor arpeggio. That adds an element of dissonance, of being in quiet, of being anxious, of being unsettled. And it comes through the whole song, this feeling, added with what he does with the left hand, the rhythm in the left hand, and this little figure in the right hand, which of course gets transposed into other places within the song. That is instrumental to how this song begins and how important the keyboard part of this song is to the song Gretchen. This is just one small thing. I've got lots of other things to say about this song, which will be in another program. So you can see how the accompaniment now and from the time after Schubert is influenced very much by the poetry, by the voice, and adds to the whole. It's not just a singer with somebody plonking out notes on the piano, but it is two people adding to make a whole together, which is so coherent.
Sure.